Now at 10, Nebraska voters made their voices heard today in the primary. The polls are now closed and we're tracking the latest results as they trickle in. Good evening, I'm Jennifer Griswold. Democratic nominations for the House of Representatives were among the key races on the line tonight. Reporter John Kipper is live in the newsroom with more on the results we have so far. John.
The race everybody was watching, including some nationally, was the Democratic primary for Nebraska's 2nd District. The winner goes on to face Don Bacon in the general, and it's going to be a rematch of 2018 as Cara Eastman easily defeated Ann Ashford. Eastman, who lost to Bacon in 2018 by 3 points, is running on a very progressive platform, advocating for single-payer health care and slowing down climate change. Ashford, the wife of former Congressman Brad Ashford, ran as a centrist, but it appears the voters wanted a progressive voice instead. Eastman took down Ashford by around 30 percentage points tonight, and she gave a speech on Facebook after her victory became apparent.
We do care about each other. We care about our neighbors. We care about climate chaos. We care about our farmers and our agricultural economy. We care about people being safe and healthy, and we know how to take care of one another.
Now, Congressman Don Bacon easily won re-election, beating Paul Anderson by around 80 percentage points. And in another Nebraska congressional race, State Senator Kate Bowles will be moving on to the general election to take on Congressman Jeff Fortenberry in Nebraska's 1st District. Bowles, who's from Lincoln, beat Babs Ramsey of Bellevue by around 60 percentage points tonight. Bowles has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars of campaign cash and says she can be the first Nebraskan to the first Democrat to represent the district since the 1960s. And we're going to be breaking down more election results coming up later in the show, including Senator Ben Sasse's re-election bid.
Thanks, John. We also have a bit of a surprise on the Douglas County Board. Claire Duda, who's been on the board since 1993, appears to have been soundly beaten in the GOP primary by Mike Friend, a former state senator. The two were largely at odds on the topic of the Juvenile Justice Center. Duda pushed to move the center from Midtown to downtown while raising property taxes. As of now, Friend is winning by around 40 percentage points. Also on the county level, Maureen Boyle, the daughter of former Omaha mayor and current board member Mike Boyle, won the Democratic primary in District 5. Mike Boyle is also running for re-election and easily advanced. Two lucrative bond issues went before the voters today. First, Omahans are deciding on whether to use a $200 million bond measure to provide money to fix many broken or crumbling streets across the city. The measure has a big lead with voters in favor of the proposal. If approved, it would raise property taxes by about $26 a year on a $100,000 home. And we just received a statement from Mayor Jean Stothert, who's thanking voters for approving the bond issue. She said, quote, "With voter support, we will immediately begin an aggressive new pavement maintenance program to repair and rehabilitate streets throughout the city. The long-term bond funding will greatly reduce our annual road repair costs and allow us to spend your tax dollars wisely. Road work funded by this bond issue will begin this summer." And voters in Millard also weighed in on a $125 million school bond. Preliminary results show voters are in favor of the measure. The money raised would pay for building improvements at several older schools, plus safety and security upgrades across the district. If approved, the bond would raise property taxes by about $10 a year on a $100,000 home. Primary voting had a very different feel this year due to the pandemic. Normally, Burke High School is one of the busiest polling places in Omaha. This morning, it sat nearly empty with only 9 voters over the first 3 hours. The same was true across town at Elkhorn South High School. The 3 precincts inside the cafeteria combined for only 50 voters over its first half of the day. Brent Roberts was among some of the first-time voters.
No, I wanted to do it in person, being my first time, and I just lived pretty close, so figured I'd just make the trip over.
We've been hearing out there that it's very, very quiet. So we think the voters of Douglas County have heeded the warning to do the early voting and to stay home, stay healthy, and keep themselves and our poll workers healthy.
Despite the low in-person presence, the mail-in boxes had a steady line of cars. And while turnout at the polls today was low, this primary election has been a record breaker. Around 354,000 ballots were cast by mail for this election. That's more than the past two primaries in 2018 and 2016. Douglas County election officials predicted a 35% turnout for today.